South node of the moon, Ketu in the third house. Ketu in the third house, in my humble opinion, is probably the most difficult placement of Ketu. I think that even Ketu in the first house is something that you can find a way to deal with. Ketu in the third house is just a lot of burden of unfulfilled potential here. Because if you have Ketu in the third house, you have some natural talents that you've born with. Okay, there is an area of your life where you are naturally gifted. It's a promise. Ketu is like a promise. What is that? Ketu is the accumulation of all of your knowledge, all of your spiritual work, all of your spiritual growth from all of previous lifetimes given to you in a particular area in this lifetime that you can then use and harness to build what Rahu is pointing towards. So when you have Ketu in third, there is a natural talent, natural gift that you have. The problem is with Rahu in the ninth house, and this is forming Pitri Dosh. So I won't go into what Pitri Dosh is. I've made a video about it. You can go check that out. What this placement does is, it gives you least interest in working with whatever that talent is. You're just not interested because you're interested in higher knowledge. You're interested in higher learning. You're interested in studying, traveling, exploring the larger vision of life, the esoteric meaning of life, the philosophical side of life. Working hard to earn your bread, earn your income is not something that interests you. No matter how hard you work in that regard, it does not give you the fulfillment that you seek. Thing is, you are not supposed to get fulfillment through that either. What you are supposed to do with this placement is you are supposed to spend your life studying, researching, learning, developing your ninth house, developing your higher vision about your life, developing your spiritual knowledge, philosophical wisdom. It is to share that with the world that you have to use these natural talents. Because I can guarantee this. I've seen tons of charts and I've been doing this for a while and I've studied tons of charts. I'm going to share a few examples here as well. Probably you saw it in my Rahu in 9th house video as well. If you have Ketu in the 3rd house, I don't know what that natural talent is. Based on your chart, there is a natural talent that you have in some area. And that natural talent is only given to you because that is the tool, that is the medium that you have been given a mastery over, that you need to leverage to share all that you learn with Rahu, to share all that you experience with Rahu. You will see a lot of very spiritual people with this placement. I mean, one of my favorite examples is Jim Carrey. I talked about him in the Rahu in the 9th house video as well. Jim Carrey, he's probably one of the most gifted physical comedians of all times. Right? And at his prime, there was nobody that, who could match him. Even if you look at his movies like Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, you'll be like, wow, I mean, how the hell is this guy doing that? How is he so free? Because that's his natural talent. He grew up looking at his father, who was an accountant, who had a natural talent with comedy, and he absorbed it, and he observed it and absorbed it. This is something that Ketu in the 3rd house people can do very well. You guys can pick out something and you can absorb it very well. You can copy things very easily. It's just that it doesn't interest you. With Jim Carrey as well, same thing happened. He took a long hiatus from his work, worked on developing his spiritual side, got into a lot of spiritual practices, grew a full beard, and he wanted to change his expression altogether. He took to painting for a while, he completely immersed himself in painting. He would make large paintings, covering walls and, huge canvases and all of that. Ultimately, he is now getting back to acting. Why? Because he has also realized that those talents that he has, They're not for his satisfaction. No. Those talents are what enable him to share all of this development that is taking place in the ninth house. That's what it's about. Okay. So if you have Ketu in the third house, talents are not a problem. Skills are not a problem. Courage also is not a problem. Your mindset needs to shift. You need to look at this placement from the perspective that, okay, I have been given these talents free of cost. My God, I just need to look at these talents as a way of servicing people and connecting them with the higher knowledge that probably they in their lifetime are never going to be able to accumulate. Journeys that probably they in their lifetime are never going to go on. This is a placement that can make someone a great travel blogger, a travel writer. This is a placement that can make someone a great teacher. It's just that your mindset needs to shift. And I know, that's it, right? I have given you all of the details. The video should be over now. But it's not as simple as that. See, the thing is, when you have Ketu in the third house, one of the biggest problems that, happens is that your tendency is to not make small conversations. You don't want to engage yourself in small talk that is necessary in order to get by in this world. You don't want to do the normal things that are required, traveling to office, coming back. No. When you're doing something, you're doing only that, and you're doing that for a long time. And that can make it difficult for you to adjust into this world, adjust into the way things are done. So what do? Well, all you have to do is you have to prioritize the ninth house where Rahu is placed. And with Ketu in the third, you have to constantly feed your third house with all of this knowledge, and you have to constantly put things out there. This can be in the form of content. This can be in the form of books. This can be in the form of music. This can be in the form of videos. This can be anything. Your job, if you have Ketu in the third house, is to look at talking, is to look at supplying information, sharing knowledge as a service that you're doing to the world. That's it. This can also make you a great consultant, therefore, a great expert at something. Okay, so if this placement is giving you problems, it's because you're trying to fit into the mold of how things are done in the world. You're trying to find yourself something that pays the bills, gives you a steady income. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen for you. The reason that that's not going to happen is because Ketu in the third house with his fifth aspect is looking at your seventh house. So you're not really interested in relationships in the way that normal people are. Ketu with his ninth aspect is looking at your 11th house. You're not even interested in friendships, not even interested in incoming gains the way that you want. You are just, making a regular income is something that as much as you go towards it, it seems to go away from you. You will either be dissatisfied with how much you make. In terms of the recognition also, you'll be dissatisfied. Why do I not get recognized? I have such a lot of potential. I do such a lot of work. Why am I not recognized? You will not be recognized for the work that you're doing. You will be recognized for this journey that is taking place in the ninth house with your Rahu. Your growth that is taking place. That is your story. That is your life's work. That is what you are meant to share with Ketu in the third. So don't worry too much about not having stable relationships, not having friendships, not being recognized, not making the kind of money that you want. And with this placement, quite often what happens is Ketu mahadasha comes along, you lose a lot of friends, you can suddenly get a divorce, you can stop talking to your friends, peers, or your sibling. And then, because you're pushed into a corner, the only thing that remains is tapping onto Rahu, trying to explore the deeper meaning of life, trying to explore the philosophical meaning of life. Why the hell has it happened to me? Or why did I have to go through this? Because Rahu in the ninth house is also looking at the first house. Rahu in the 9th house is also looking at the 5th house. Your life is about learning to follow your dharma. Because the 1st, 5th and 9th form the dharma triangle. This lifetime is not about fulfillment of your desires. It's not about earning money. This life is about tapping into what you feel is your duty. What you feel, dharma actually is not duty, by the way. Let me clarify that. Dharma is not the correct translation when you go to English language. In the English language, actually, there is no accurate translation for dharma. Dharma, in essence, what it means upholding what is. It means, holding strong on what has always been, propagating the most important aspects of the social fabric, of the moral fabric. Probably not the moral fabric as much because that's still perspective, but for example, caring for the environment, it's your duty. You can look at it from that perspective, but it's not really your duty, it's your responsibility. You don't care for the environment, we will not have anything left. We won't have, enough oxygen to breathe. We won't have the ice caps. We'll be suffering from global warming the way that we are. Why? Because people are not following their dharma. Keeping the rivers clean is your dharma. It's not merely your duty. Nobody's going to punish you if you don't do that. But it is your responsibility. It is your job, and it is also a part of your conscious as a being on this planet to do so. That is what dharma is. So with this placement, your biggest job, your only job, if you want to reap the benefits of this placement, is to learn how to tap in to the most basic of duties that you perceive you have. Duties that have been given to you as part of being in society. Duties and responsibilities that have been given to you as part of being wherever you are, wherever you find yourself. All you have to do is you have to keep following that, the compass pointing north, always pointing towards this is what I need to do. This is what I should be doing. Instead of trying to blend in with the rest and joining in the rat race and then beating yourself up for not being as cutthroat as they are, okay? You need to rise above the chatter. Because Ketu, my friend, Ketu is the eagle. You have to rise above the clouds. The eagle is a bird whose strategy of dealing with storms, unlike other birds, is to fly above the clouds. So when you have Ketu in the 3rd, what you need to do to master this game of going out there and getting what you're worth is to not play this stupid game at all. Okay? And I'll give you another great example here. Famous actress Natalie Portman. You must have heard of her, right? The great actress from the movie Black Swan. If you haven't watched that movie, man, you should watch that movie. Great movie. Okay, it's a very spiritual movie. Natalie Portman, at the height of her career, quit her acting career to go and pursue a degree in psychology. When she was asked whether or not she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to make it back into the film industry, you know what she said? She said, I'd rather be a learned person than just somebody who is obsessed with her career. It's fine. I don't really care about it that much. I want to be a well-rounded individual. I want to learn. I want to study. She did that, and she came back into the the theater scene. She started picking up projects that appealed to her as an individual, more than as an actor, more than as this identity with which she was earning money, with which she was working. She picked up the path of knowledge because that is what appealed to her sense of dharma. Okay, so this is the life purpose and destiny aspect for this placement for you. If you have this placement, my friend, your life purpose and destiny is to be firmly tuned into your dharma and tap into your natural talents to share this with the world, to execute your dharma. Let's take a practical example. Let's say you're a great writer, but you have no intention of being a writer. You don't want to be a writer. You hate writing, but you are a great writer. Okay? And you're trying to make it as a, management consultant. You're not able to do that. You're trying to make it, let's say, as a journalist. You're not able to do that. You're trying to make it as a business person. You're not able to do that. And you're like, what the hell? Like, I'm good for nothing. I mean, I am so talented. I have studied. I have spent my life learning, and I have spent my time, researching and doing all of these things. I have such a lot of experiences. How the hell is it that I'm failing at life? Because you're going about it the wrong way. You do not have to look at this talent as something that you have to make into a career. No. What stands in the way becomes the way. If failures are what are continuously coming towards you in the paths that you're taking up, make that the knowledge that you share with the world. You can become a great, career coach. Use writing to write articles or make short videos. Share with the world. This is what I learned being a management consultant. This is what I learned being a journalist. This is what I learned in entrepreneurship. These are the things that I learned I should do, should not do. Share your journey with the world. Share knowledge. Pick out the knowledge. Pick out the higher knowledge. Pick out whatever you've researched, whatever you've been able to experience through the 9th house of Rahu, and share it with the world through the 3rd house of Ketu. And you will see yourself, suddenly blow up on social media or suddenly blow up on the internet without trying too hard. Why? Because you are quitting the rat race. You're rising above the clouds. Okay? So that is my analysis of the life purpose and destiny aspect of Ketu in the 3rd house. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so that you can stay abreast of all the wonderful content that I post here. I post a variety of content here. Go check out the playlists. I have made a few series as well on self-help, self-improvement. Check them out. Push the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time I post. If you want a personal session with me, check out the link given here in the description. It will take you to my website. You'll have to fill up a contact form. Once I receive that form, once I receive your details, and I'll reach out to you, with a time and place for the appointment. Okay? Take care. Hari Om.